Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your May 2020 general readings. We are looking at the first half of May from the 1st through the 15th. This reading is for the air sign of Libra, first 2 weeks of May or so. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us here today. And as I have been saying a lot lately, I hope everyone is safe, stable, healthy, and as sane as we possibly can be in such fluctuating, fluid, and often very restrictive times, especially when we don't know exactly how things are going to play out and the information keeps changing all of the time. I hope that you all can remain as grounded as possible during this time. I think that things will start to loosen up a bit in stages. We may have to do this again a little ways down the road, but hopefully there will be some kind of cohesive plan moving forward soon. Okay, let's move right into this reading. Libra, first 2 weeks of May. So that's Libra sun, moon, rising if your Venus is in Libra, or if you're cross watching for a Libran. So you know, general readings always resonate a little differently for everybody. I mean, how could they not? Everybody's so different. But if you know all of your signs, sun, moon, rising, Venus, watch them all. It can be helpful. If these readings do resonate with you, any of them, you want to take a deeper look at something, reach out for a personal reading, get information on a personal reading, just click on the description link below, click on the little arrow that pulls down information. You'll see some contact details there. You can email me, Maggie, the number 1, McGuire@gmail.com. I can usually respond to your initial inquiry with more info in the same day or within the first 24 hours. And scheduling personal readings is pretty timely too. I do readings full time. It's all that I do. So I'm pretty diligent with working with your schedule, my schedule, to get readings set up with you or out to you as quickly as possible. So for those of you who are interested, I look forward to hearing from you. Okay, Libra, let's see about the first 2 weeks of May for you. I am using The Legacy of the Divine Tarot by artist Ciro Marchetti. Beautiful, rich, vivid colors. Love this artist. I have several of his decks. Libra, first half of May. Okay, Libra, we begin with the Lovers. Followed by the Two of Swords. Somebody really needs to make a decision and really doesn't want to. We have the Six of Swords, followed by the Ace of Wands. From the bottom of the deck, overall energy is the Seven of Wands. I got to tell you, Libra, maybe some of you are involved with a Leo. I feel kind of a very defensive, maybe for some of you, a little petulant energy. A lot of defensive energy here. Your overall energy and focus the first half of May is the Seven of Wands, defending, protecting, guarding. I mean, sometimes this energy can be very positive, and if you're standing up for yourself or for someone else, you're defending something you have a lot, invested in. On many decks, it's shown as someone being challenged or threatened. They're standing in the door of their home, their castle, their keep, or whatever it is that they hold precious. They've invested a lot into it. It's theirs. They feel it's being challenged, threatened, so they're defending it. They're guarding it. They're standing there. They don't want to let anybody in. It can be very positive, but it can also be negative. It can represent being too defensive. Being challenged can often be a good thing. It can either strengthen our own knowledge and convictions and awareness of what we believe in by having those challenged. It helps clarify and deepen that protectiveness about what we believe in, our ideologies, who we are. And sometimes being challenged can provide us with the opportunity of looking at the thing we're holding so fiercely onto and go, is this even true anymore? Do I need to still be holding on to this? And I think that is what I'm getting. No, not think. That is what I'm getting here in this situation for you, Libra. I think that you're holding on, defending very fiercely something that you have a lot invested in. You have a lot into it. Maybe it's being challenged or threatened somehow, or sometimes the Seven of Wands can represent, having a way of thinking, an ideology, a way of looking at something, or something that you've attached yourself a belief to. It's a relationship for most of you with the Lovers here. Maybe it's attaching yourself to a particular outcome. This is my person, and this is my goal for this relationship, and that's the way it's going to be, and I'm not going to let go of that. Even when maybe reality is telling you otherwise, you're still kind of firmly holding on to that because a decision needs to be made about this relationship, or a decision needs to be made that's going to impact significantly this relationship. We have the Lovers and the Two of Swords. I mean, the Lovers represents a decision that needs to be made. When the Lovers comes up, it's usually very, very about a very passionate, kinetic relationship, sometimes twin flame, which can sometimes be a very turbulent relationship, karmic connection. A decision needs to be made that's either about the relationship itself, or a decision maybe in another area of your life that's going to significantly impact this relationship. Like, for example, I've seen this card come up when somebody needed to make a decision about a career change, which is going to require relocating, which of course is going to affect their relationship. Pretty significant decision needs to be made. Whether it's about the relationship or about something else, it's going to impact the relationship, but it needs to be made. We have Two of Swords here. Twos, choices, duality, crossroads. Again, a decision needs to be made. But in this Two of Swords, I sometimes call the Two of Swords my head stuck in the sand. Swords are governed by the element of air, and they're all about what goes on in our heads. Words, communication, ideologies, beliefs, perceptions, perspectives. The blindfold can represent feeling stuck, not seeing clearly, but it often represents that there's something that needs to be seen and dealt with. A choice needs to be made, a course of action. The blindfold needs to come off so that you can look at the situation, deal with whatever's there, and make a decision and move on one way or the other. Often we think that it's easier to not look at that 800-pound purple gorilla that's in the corner of our living room, because then we have to look at it, we have to acknowledge its existence, and then we have to deal with this 800-pound purple gorilla that's sitting in the corner of our living room. We think for a time it's much easier just to kind of not acknowledge it. We clean up after it, we kind of dust around it, we see it out of the corner of our eye, but as long as we don't really acknowledge it's there, we don't have to do whatever we need to do to kind of deal with it. But it needs to be dealt with. The blindfold needs to come off. I mean, it looks pretty significant here that a choice needs to be made. For many of you, it's a relationship of some kind, a pretty connected relationship. And it's one I think that you've been in for quite some time. Now, you can apply the same energy perhaps to a job. Maybe it's one that you feel very passionate about. Because what I'm hearing here, the message that I'm hearing, Libra, is what you're so defensive about guarding that you don't want to let go of, you don't want to put the swords down, is an outcome. It feels like what I'm hearing is that you keep plugging away at something that maybe isn't working, and maybe it hasn't for quite some time, or it's dysfunctional, meaning that it functions but in a broken and painful way. Kind of like, having a broken foot and walking on it anyway. I mean, technically you can still walk, but it hurts, right? But you're attached to an outcome. You're attached to an outcome with a job. Yes, but if I keep doing this and I keep pouring my all and I keep working overtime and all of this stuff, then I'm going to get that thing, that promotion, that raise, that position, that whatever. If I stay with this person and I keep loving and devoting and trying and serving and all of this, it's going to be this way, and this person's going to wake up and blah blah blah, and it's going to be this. It's like this outcome, this vision that you have. And I'm not saying that the vision itself is wrong, but I feel like you're not being realistic about what the situation, a relationship or partnership, whatever it is, you're not actually looking at it realistically. And you don't want to, because I think there's this underlying fear, Libra, that if you do, you'll have to acknowledge that something is wrong, and that you have to deal with the conflict or whatever in addressing it. And if it can't be addressed, then in order to have what you really want, that vision, you're going to have to leave this thing behind, this job, this person, whatever. It's a possibility. It might be that for some of you, it might not be. But it needs to be addressed, because sweeping it under the carpet isn't working. Maybe it does for a while, but that lump under the carpet keeps getting bigger and bigger until one day you're going to fall over it and break your neck. Well, maybe, but not that, but it hurts, right? So next we have the Six of Swords and the Ace of Wands. Healing, peace, restoration. It's sitting next to the Lovers, so that's what this decision is about. It's about the need to heal. If you could see the water behind this boat, it would be wavy, choppy, muddy, turbulent, all over the place, foams. But this is about moving into calm, peaceful, placid, serene waters. Sometimes it's a bit poignant, sometimes it's a bit painful. We all throw out, the healing process and the caterpillar turning into the butterfly. You go into cocoon and it comes out the other end as this beautiful butterfly and it's all healed and renewed. And yes, and it is beautiful. But the process to getting there, what happens in that cocoon, what happens in the early stages of healing can be brutal and bloody and messy and gross. It's painful, especially the initial stages of healing. If you've been sick or if you've had surgery, yeah, you heal. And as time goes on, it gets better and better as you leave the source of the pain behind. But it can be difficult, challenging in the beginning. So it's transitional. The worst is behind you. You're moving towards the other shore. You're not quite there yet. You're not on solid ground, but you're moving towards it. Some of you, the healing may need to be made by leaving it behind you, even if for a time. Why? What clarifies the Six of Swords? The Ace of Wands, for a brand new beginning. The opportunity for a new beginning, one that's filled with passion and desire and excitement. It could be for some of you, if this is a relationship, it might be that you need to leave for a time. You need to say, I need to take a break. I need to separate myself because that's the only way to get this sense of renewal. Maybe the two of you need some perspective, and maybe that separation sometimes will cause the other person, you, both of you to go, wow, let's do what we need to do to transform this and move on because I don't want to let go of this. And maybe it'll be that you just need to go, I need to separate myself from this because this isn't working for me anymore. And I want this again. I want to start over again. But I think what you're defending and holding on to, what you're being blind to, is the fear that the new beginning, I mean, this needs healing, whether it's possible to heal the situation itself or whether you need to move physically separate yourself from it in order to achieve the healing. It's the hidden fears about what may or may not need to happen that have you going, no, I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at it yet. There's a reluctance and a resistance. You're holding on to that outcome, that you know blind belief that if you just keep trying, it's going to change somehow because why, right? Taking the blindfold off and saying, look, this isn't working for me. What can we do about it? Nothing. Okay, then I need to go. That's what you're afraid of. And it might be that for some of you and it might not, but you won't know until you do it. And in that in between process, you're limping along on a broken foot. Some days it might not hurt as bad as others, but you're still walking around on a broken foot. And that needs to stop. Well, that was kind of heavy, wasn't it, Libra? Okay. Let's pull one advice card before we end this. One card. What's the advice for Libra? What's the best way for Libra to navigate through this energy, at least for the first half of May? So we'll have two cards for advice. The first one is the Four of Coins, and the second one is Temperance. Okay. Yeah, you're being asked to think about yourself because the Four of Coins represents holding on to your own security. This can sometimes be a positive or negative card, but here it's being given as advice from God, Spirit, your angels, and guides. Coins, or pentacles as it's known in other decks, it often points to things like money, finance, property, resources, assets, the things that long-term relationships or long-term historical connections we have with people, because it's fundamentally being governed by the element of earth. It's about the solidity and stability and safety and continuity that we feel in the day-to-day physical structure of our life. It's about those things in our life that makes us feel safe and stable. And it's about the acquiring of things in our life that makes us feel safe and stable and gives us a sense of rootedness and continuity. Money, home, job, property, things, long-term relationships, people. Makes us feel safe, makes us feel rooted. The Four of Coins is about holding on to what you have, being frugal, holding on to what you have that makes you feel safe, stable, and secure. It's sometimes nicknamed the miser card because it's about holding on to what you have. Maybe you've lost a lot in the past. You don't want to in the past, and you don't want to lose anymore. So you're hoarding what you have because that makes you feel safe, makes the structure of your life feel safe. And you're being advised to do so, to protect yourself, to hold on to what makes you feel safe and stable and secure, whatever that is. Temperance is about being in the middle, staying balanced, staying focused in who you are, who you are, what you want, what you need, and not leaving that to get involved in other things because that makes you lose your balance. My analogy for the temperance card, because it's about holding opposite extremes in unison and harmony, being grounded. And that's not a static position. It's like being in the middle of a seesaw or a teeter-totter. You got hot on one side, cold on the other. You have to maintain this balance because in the culinary world, to temper means to combine these things slowly, patiently, so that they come together in the center and have this beautiful mixture. So the outside arms of the seesaw and the teeter-totter can sometimes be your own emotions trying to pull you out of that grounded place. Yes, but this is who I am. This is what I know. This is what I want. This is what I need. It can be circumstances outside of your control, people. When you leave your center and dive off into that, you can't maintain your balance when those arms go up and down because you have no control. When you stay in the middle, things happen and you might have to adjust your weight, adjust here and there to maintain your balance, but you'll keep your balance. It's not about diving off in the center. And keeping your balance means I know who I am. I know what I want. I know where I'm going. I know what I need. I might have to turn my back on this thing because it's not what I need and that might hurt, but I know it's going to put me on a path towards what I really deserve and need to have. So it's about that. And that's what you're being asked to do. You're being asked to hold on to what you have left in this situation that's going to make you feel secure because you don't want to get to the next card, which is the Five of Coins, which shows somebody who's out in the streets begging. You don't want to give away your last coin. You need to take care of yourself too. So, gosh, it's kind of more intense and heavy than I thought it was going to be. But that's it, Libra. And this reading has its own beauty too. But, you just gotta, let's reverse this defensive energy. Let's take this blindfold off, okay? Okay, Libra, that is your reading for the first half of May. I hope that I don't know if I can say I hope you enjoyed it or not. I mean, it's not a horrible reading, it's just kind of a wake up reading, right? So I hope that for those of you that I was reading for, I hope you found it helpful and useful. If it resonates with you, if any of the readings do, and you'd like to reach out for a personal reading, click on the description link below. Email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. I'll see you all again in a couple of weeks for the May mid-month readings. Until then, I wish you much love, joy, peace, strength, health, safety, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.